In this video, we are going to go over how to export a project from Adobe Premiere Pro. You may have already watched the training course on Lynda on how to export a project, but we'll be going over our preferred settings within the MMC Digital Lab. First, if you have in or out points set within your project, be sure to either clear those or set them to where you want your video to start and end. Next, select the timeline panel. It will be highlighted in blue once it has been selected. To export a project, go to File, Export, Media. The keyboard shortcut is Command-M on Mac devices or Control-M on Windows devices. Here, you'll be able to rename the project, set the file destination, and edit the technical video aspects. On the left-hand side is a screen that allows you to scroll through the video. At the bottom left, you can adjust your source range. This should be set to the sequence in/out, assuming that this is what you like to export. In most cases, this should be set to export the entire sequence. At the top right-hand side of the screen, you will be able to select the format of your export. Select the H.264 if it has not already been selected. Double-click the blue text next to Output Name to rename your project and to determine its final destination. Once you are satisfied, select Save. Make sure the Export Video and Export Audio boxes are both selected. Below the two checkboxes are a series of different tabs ranging from Effects to Publish. Visit the Video tab if it has not already been displayed. Here, you'll be able to view and edit the basic video settings. This should default to the sequence settings, but if it is not correct, you can deselect the checkmark on the right and then change each setting accordingly. Most commonly, you will be exporting in a 16:9 aspect ratio. The most common resolution is 1080p or 1920x1080. Other acceptable resolutions may include 1440p, which is 2560x1440, or 4K, which is 3840x2160. Only export in these higher resolutions if the project was recorded in that particular resolution. In most cases, ensure that your frame rate is set to 29.97, which is 30 frames per second. 23.97 is also acceptable if your project was shot in 24 frames per second. If your project was shot at 60 frames per second, unless you know it needs to be exported in 60 frames per second, set your frame rate to 29.97. Aspect should be set to square pixels 1.0. Next, check the box next to Render at maximum depth. Continue scrolling down to bitrate settings. Bitrate encoding should be set to CBR, and target bitrate should be moved all the way to the right, which is 50 for a 1080p video. Side note, if you are exporting a rough draft, you can set the target bitrate to about 10 in order to save time since it will not be the final version of the video. Lastly, near the bottom, check the Use Maximum Render Quality checkbox. Below, you see the estimated file size of the export. You are now ready to export your project. Select the export button and wait for your project to finish exporting. Do not shut off or restart your computer during the process. After the export is complete, double check that your video is indeed in your selected file location and that it properly plays. The next step now is to get in touch with your supervisor for any questions or additional training.